DOGE, a mission of efficiency. Elon Musk, tech CEO, meme lord. And now government efficiency guru? It seems like a strange fit, but that's exactly what Musk is aiming for with his latest venture, the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, as it's quickly become known. Launched in early 2025, DOGE has a simple if ambitious mission: to use technology and Musk's signature brand of disruption to streamline the often Byzantine workings of the US government. Think of it as Silicon Valley taking on bureaucracy with the goal of making government leaner, faster, and dare we say it, more efficient. But DOGE's mission isn't just about updating clunky websites or automating paperwork. Musk has set his sights on something far more ambitious: access to the crown jewels of government data, starting with the Internal Revenue Service or IRS. Yes, you read that right. Elon Musk wants to get his hands on your tax returns. Or, to be more precise, he wants DOGE to have access to the vast trove of taxpayer data held by the IRS, claiming it's the key to unlocking unprecedented levels of government efficiency. But as with all things Musk, this ambition comes with a healthy dose of controversy. Inside the IRS, the Integrated Data Retrieval System. At the heart of this controversy lies a system most Americans have never heard of, but one that holds an incredible amount of power: the Integrated Data Retrieval System, or IDRS. This isn't some obscure piece of government software, it's the backbone of the IRS, a digital Fort Knox containing the financial secrets of every taxpayer, business, and non-profit in the United States. We're talking social security numbers, bank account details, income records, the works. It's the kind of data that makes identity thieves salivate and privacy advocates break out in a cold sweat. And DOGE wants in. Their argument is simple, on the surface at least. To truly optimize the government, they need to understand how money flows through it. And there's no better way to do that than by analyzing the data held within the IDRS. They claim they can identify inefficiencies, root out fraud, and ultimately save taxpayers billions by having access to this treasure trove of information. But the question remains, is the potential reward worth the risk of handing the keys to the kingdom to Elon Musk? Gavin Kleiger, DOGE's man on the inside. To spearhead this data-driven crusade, Musk has dispatched one of his own, Gavin Kleiger, a brilliant but relatively unknown software engineer from Tesla, now tasked with leading DOGE's charge into the heart of the IRS. Kleiger, by all accounts a coding whiz kid, has been granted a 120-day, and curiously renewable, embed within the IRS, acting as a consultant on engineering and IT modernization. But those familiar with DOGE's ambitions believe his true objective is far more expansive: to gain access to the IDRS and begin siphoning its data into DOGE's own systems. Think of it as a technological Trojan horse, wheeled into the IRS under the guise of modernization, but with the potential to upend decades of carefully constructed data security protocols. Kleiger, for his part, has been relatively tight-lipped about his specific goals within the IRS, but his very presence has sent shockwaves through the agency, with many fearing that he's a harbinger of a new era of data vulnerability. The data dilemma: access and accountability. The crux of the issue lies in a fundamental tension between transparency and security. DOGE argues that greater access to government data will lead to a more accountable and efficient system. They envision a world where algorithms can crunch through tax records to identify waste, highlight potential fraud, and even suggest policy changes based on real-time data analysis. It's a seductive vision, the idea that big data can solve big government's biggest problems, but it hinges on a leap of faith that this data can be accessed, analyzed, and acted upon without compromising the privacy and security of millions of Americans. And that's a leap many are hesitant to take. Section 5 IRS pushback: concerns from within. Unsurprisingly, the IRS hasn't exactly rolled out the red carpet for DOGE. In fact, the agency has been pushing back against Kleiger's presence and the broader request for data access, citing concerns about security, privacy, and the potential for misuse. The IRS, despite its reputation as a bureaucratic behemoth, takes data security very seriously. The IDRS in particular is protected by layers of encryption, access controls, and auditing mechanisms designed to prevent unauthorized access or disclosure. Granting DOGE access, even with the supposed safeguards of a confidentiality agreement, represents a significant departure from these protocols and introduces a new element of risk into the system. The agency is well aware of the potential fallout from a data breach, both in terms of financial damage to taxpayers and reputational harm to the IRS itself. Section 6. The White House weighs in. A justification for access. Adding fuel to the fire is the Trump administration's vocal support for DOGE's mission. White House officials have publicly defended DOGE's request for IRS data, arguing that it's necessary to fulfill their mandate of eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse, and improving government performance. They've stressed that DOGE personnel, including Kliger, have undergone rigorous background checks and security clearances, implying that concerns about data misuse are overblown. However, critics argue that security clearances, while important, don't address the fundamental issue of access. The IRS has long maintained a policy of limiting access to sensitive taxpayer data based on the principle of need to know, not on security clearance alone. DOGE's request, they argue, represents a dangerous precedent, potentially opening the door to broader government surveillance and data collection under the guise of efficiency. Section 7. Privacy on the line. Navigating the data minefield. At the heart of this debate lies a fundamental question. How do we balance the potential benefits of data-driven governance with the very real risks to individual privacy? The IRS contains some of the most sensitive information imaginable about American citizens. It's not just about protecting our financial data, it's about safeguarding our fundamental right to privacy, the freedom to go about our lives without fear of our personal information being misused or compromised. Granting an external entity like DOGE access to this data, even with the best intentions, creates a dangerous precedent. It normalizes the idea that government data, even the most personal and sensitive kind, is fair game for analysis and exploitation. And once that Pandora's box is open, it's hard to imagine how we close it. Section 8. A double-edged sword: efficiency versus intrusion. There's no denying the allure of DOGE's vision. Imagine a future where government services are streamlined, bureaucracy is minimized, and tax dollars are spent more efficiently. It's a tantalizing prospect and one that resonates deeply in an era of government distrust and frustration. But the question remains, at what cost? Are we willing to sacrifice our privacy and security on the altar of efficiency? Are we comfortable with the idea of a government that knows everything about our finances, even if they promise to use that knowledge for good? These are not easy questions to answer, and there's no simple right or wrong answer. Section 9. The future of data: a balancing act. The battle over DOGE's access to IRS data is just the tip of the iceberg. As technology advances and data becomes ever more central to our lives, we're bound to face similar dilemmas in countless other areas. How do we balance the desire for innovation and efficiency with the need to protect fundamental rights like privacy and security? How do we ensure that data is used responsibly and ethically, not as a tool for surveillance or control? These are the questions that will define the future of our digital society. The outcome of the DOGE IRS standoff will set an important precedent, not just for the future of government data, but for the delicate balance between progress and privacy in the digital age. And right now, that balance feels precarious at best.